What's going on, everyone? I'm just a typical, average American here today to react and learn about the Canadian provinces ranked. That's right. I'm ready to stir up a little bit of controversy. Actually, as an American going into this, I have literally no bias about this. I barely know anything about any of the provinces. I've probably confused Canadian provinces with cities and towns at some point. As a matter of fact, I know I have. So I'm just going into this as a learning experience. For any Canadians watching, if you want to jump into the comments and defend your province, if it gets bashed during this video, and you want to uphold the honor of your province, feel absolutely free. I hold no judgment. I just want to learn about the 10 provinces and see probably some of the benefits and drawbacks of living in them and, what each has to offer, while at the same time hearing this video's interpretation of where they're ranked, which is also, I have to admit, probably going to be pretty interesting. So, with that being said, let's take a look. Canadian provinces ranked.
The real question is, why haven't you moved to Canada?
Because it's such a big country. I don't know where to go.
Well, unless you actually are a moose, you probably want to stick with 85% of all Canadians and live within 100 miles of the US border. Because although Canada is the second largest country and full of beautiful, diverse landscapes, a lot of that land gets so cold that you'll end up looking like this guy if you spend 5 seconds outside.
Oh my gosh, all these videos start out with so many Canadian tropes in a row. But I did just learn that, like he said, basically 85% of the Canadian population is south, within 100 miles of the border. Pretty cool.
I guess it makes sense the Canadian pop sensation The Weeknd can't feel his face. But for the 93% of Canadians who love their home, the excellent education system, high quality of life, and incredible cities more than make up for it. Speaking of which, let's hit 5,000 likes for a video on the 10 best cities in Canada. But before you put on your sweater, other sweater, jacket, second jacket, hat, mittens, 2 pairs of pants, and enough socks to cut after circulation and move here, or if you already live in Canada and are looking for a new home, these are all 10 Canadian provinces ranked from...
Man, I don't even know the names of all 10 provinces. I'm going to be for real with you. Totally transparent. And I definitely, the ones I do know, I don't think I pronounce them correctly.
From worst to best, based on their economy, safety, cost of living, education, and quality of life.
Oh, wait. So his ranking, he's claiming that his ranking has kind of a system to it. A metric. Data-oriented. Okay.
Based on their economy, safety, cost of living, education, and quality of life.
Okay, so he's taking in like 5 or 6 factors, literally, that affect the quality of your life when he's ranking the provinces. So, let's see.
Number 10. Actually, we're going to start off with a quick honorable mention. The territories. Sure, they are provinces and only have a combined population of around 125,000. But if you're looking to rake in the cash, they have a lot of good-paying jobs.
Huh. Yeah. I just learned about the territories, like literally a few days ago. Their existence. And apparently they're great if you want to get a high-paying job. Never knew that. But I think... territories are somehow different than provinces. They have a different sort of relationship with how much centralized government control is over them or something like that.
Northwest Territories is actually home to the highest median household income at 154,000 Canadian dollars, and the Yukon isn't looking too shabby either at 129,000.
Wait, are the territories like low-key, secretly the play? Are they secretly like the place to move in Canada? Not if you want to, like, have a really... find a lot of your favorite clubs or social events. No one's going to show up because no one lives there, apparently. But you're going to be rich. And if you just want to be rich and alone, sounds good to me, Just quietly hermit in your mansion. Cool.
to mention a 5.2% unemployment rate.
But wait, 5.2% is so high compared to the US.
Actually, Mr. Moose, Canada measures their real unemployment rate, which, by the same metrics, would have the US unemployment rate at 8.8%. So 5.2 is pretty remarkable. But then again, the cost of living is also much higher here, as everything needs to be shipped long distances, and heating bills are through the roof.
Okay, never mind. No, no journeying out to the territories for me. Sorry.
Truth be told, for most people, no amount of money is enough to live in the cold and desolate territories. When
my
negative
God.
40 is common, and the population centers are thousands of kilometers apart. And if that somehow sounds appealing, keep in mind the crime rates in Nunavut and Northwest Territories are more than 5 times the national average.
What? The crime is bigger? Because you're out in the middle of nowhere and you figure if you kidnap and eat somebody, you'll never get caught? Good to know.
Actual number 10, Manitoba. Nearly twice as many people move out of Manitoba than in, and who can blame?
Manitoba. I've heard of Manitoba. I would never have been able to recall the name from my brain, but I have heard of Manitoba. I'm so glad he has a map pulled up as well. Thank you. I need a visual, image of where it is, cement that in my brain. Manitoba is in the center. And I am sorry, Manitoba, but you are ranked 10th.
Manitoba. Nearly twice as many people move out of Manitoba than in, and who can blame them? It's
Wow.
the second most dangerous province, has the second lowest life expectancy, the worst schools in the nation, and although it's home to the lowest unemployment rate of any province at only 5.7%, there are also very few good-paying jobs, so even with a median home value of just $313,000, Manitoba still has the third highest poverty rate at 11.5%.
Okay, I'm not going into this video trying to poo-poo and dump on any province. I have no say in that. I don't know enough. But this guy's really making Manitoba not sound great. Although he's not going into any of the details or reasons, any of the good things about Manitoba. He's just listing off the worst statistics. So I'm keeping that in mind, but it does sound like kind of a scary place.
And if all that isn't enough of a deterrent, did I mention it's the least happy province, or that it gets frigid cold? In fact, Winnipeg is the coldest major city in North America, with most winter days reaching negative 30 degrees Celsius with the wind chill. And if you
Wow.
thought the summers would be any better, think again.
I mean, it looks so beautiful when it, like this drone picture here. I don't know what city this is, but it looks nice. As long as you, if you go here, it'll look nice, but you're gonna have your wallet stolen and have a terrible education, apparently.
There are over 110,000 lakes in Manitoba, which means it gets incredibly humid. And you know who loves lakes and humidity? Mosquitoes. Heck, there are so many here that a town literally named itself Mosquito in Ukrainian. No, honestly, no province in Canada is a bad place to live, and Manitoba still has a really high quality of life. It's just that everything the province has to offer, another province does better. Well, except for polar bears, because Churchill is the polar bear capital of the world.
What?
Number 9, Newfoundland and Labrador.
Wait. We can't just skip. Sadly, I can't just skip these map parts. I really need this part. Newfoundland and Labrador. That's an island, and part of it is not an island. Why aren't they just separate provinces? Why isn't it just Newfoundland, province, Labrador, province? What's with the and? Why are they together? What's going on here? Anyway, they're to the upper right. Got it.
The small town lifestyle of Newfoundland and Labrador is ranked as the 4th most satisfying in Canada, despite also being home to very little sunshine and terrible weather. No, literally, St. John's is routinely ranked as having the worst weather of any Canadian city. But speaking of St. John's, it's likely the most picturesque, charming, and unique city in the country.
I mean, it looks beautiful. What he's showing me looks pretty incredible, as much as the negative things he's saying.
And it's a good thing the buildings are so bright and colorful, because they'll lift your spirits on even the stormiest day. And if they don't lift your spirits, then George Street definitely will, because it has the highest concentration of bars and pubs of any street in North America.
Oh, hey, there we go. What? It doesn't matter if this is number 9 on the list. You're never gonna be too sad. You can just go down to the street with the highest pub density.
And if that still doesn't lift your spirits, then the people definitely will, as Newfoundlanders might actually be the friendliest Canadians. And if
Really? Wait, I think that counts for a lot. Canadians are already friendly, and these are the friendliest of the friendlies. Newfoundland and Labrador. I shall go there if I need help. If I'm lost in Canada and need a friend. Those are the nicest Canadians.
still doesn't lift your spirits, well, then you probably suffer from seasonal depression, in which case, don't move here. Because from the fog to rain to sheer isolation and 322 centimeters of annual snow, Newfoundland isn't for the faint of heart. But if you don't mind having a vitamin D deficiency and are just looking for a beautiful place to raise a family, Newfoundland and Labrador is the 4th safest province. The schools are great, and while the unemployment rate is the highest in the nation at 12.1%, the median home value is also the 4th lowest at just $315 grand.
I mean, his biggest complaint seemed to be the weather. Everything else sounded pretty good.
Number 8, Prince Edward Island.
Oh, hold on. Prince Edward Island. Who is Prince Edward? Was he deserving of his own island, named after him? Okay, so this is on the eastern side. All right.
Prince Edward Island may be the smallest province by both population and area, but what it lacks in size, it makes up for in potatoes. Yeah, while PEI is just 0.1% of Canada's total landmass, it produces 2.5 billion pounds of spuds annually, or around 25% of the country's total yield.
I like potatoes. I like fries. This could be the poutine capital of the world, for all I know. And, that counts. That counts for a lot on the Tyler rating system that may have just moved Prince Edward Island up, to be honest.
And with only 160,000 full-time residents, humans are certainly outnumbered by the root vegetable. Well, at least until summer rolls around and all the tourists hightail it to the island to indulge in delicious seafood, explore the charming countryside, and dip their toes in the warmest ocean water north of the Carolinas.
I mean, it sounds like it's got, like, it's a tourist paradise, which would kind of make it a paradise if you're not a tourist, say if you live there. So, I don't know, it sounds kind of nice.
Speaking of which, fishing, tourism, and agriculture are pretty much the only industries in the province, resulting in the second highest unemployment rate at 10.6% and the second lowest median household income of only $89,000. And since many people from the more expensive big cities have been moving here for the late
$89,000? I mean, that's still pretty darn good.
$89,000. 0.6% and the second lowest median household income of only $89,000.
That's the median household income? I mean, that's pretty darn good. Maybe I'm totally off on my stats on that.
They can now work remotely. More expensive big cities have been moved income of only $89,000. And since many people from the more expensive big cities have been moving here for the laid-back lifestyle, as they can now work remotely, home values have shot up by a staggering 33.6% over the past year to 370 grand.
Okay, well, when was this video made? Only a year ago. Okay. Not that out of date.
This has made PEI unaffordable for many locals, but can you really blame anyone for wanting to live here? I mean, it's the 3rd safest province, offers the highest overall life satisfaction rate, and is home to so many beautiful beaches.
Yeah, it's beautiful. And high home satisfaction? Well, high home costs, but it's very safe there. I don't know. Sounds pretty good to me.
Number 7, New Brunswick.
New Brunswick. Ah. You know, I never even really considered all these little islands and whatnot on the eastern end of Canada. This is never brought up in discussions, in all of our little American discussions, our secret American nights we have here in the United States, where we talk about the shape of Canada together. For some reason, we never talk about the eastern side, so in all seriousness, this is new to me. New Brunswick.
Just a quick $48.50 toll ride across the outrageously expensive Confederation Bridge brings
Whoa.
us to our next province, which is often the most overlooked. No Funswick. I mean, New Brunswick. But while
What?
many Canadians think of New Brunswick as the absolute worst, the statistics say otherwise. Sure,
Oh, so this has a reputation in Canada? Like, among Canadians. If you asked a Canadian, and they weren't ranking it with his weird economic happiness scale, a lot of people would say New Brunswick. Is that true?
there are no vibrant big cities, and the economy is lacking with the lowest minimum wage and median household income at just $86,500. But have you seen this coastline? Not to mention, the median home value is the lowest in Canada at only $252 grand. So even with
Okay.
the low salaries and high taxes, the poverty rate is still just 9.4%.
Right, right. Even though you don't earn much, stuff isn't as expensive. So, I mean, it seems like a nice enough place, so it might be worth
It's
it.
just the third lowest of any province. And despite its nickname, there are actually some really cool places in New Brunswick. The capital, Fredericton, has a great art scene and tons of
No Funswick. That gets me every time.
cool places in New Brunswick. The capital, Fredericton, has a great art scene and tons of greenery. St. John is incredibly picturesque with historic buildings and so much beautiful nearby nature, not
Wow.
to mention the up-and-coming uptown area. And Moncton's got the best jobs, restaurants,
I don't know. Drone footage has a way of making anything look amazing and beautiful, but from what I could tell, everything looks amazing and beautiful here.
and nightlife of the three main cities, as well as the most francophones. Which reminds me, you should probably learn French if you plan on moving here, because it's the only official bilingual province.
Oh, wait, what? What? Oh, is Quebec officially French? I didn't know that. I thought it was officially bilingual. Huh. Well, if he's saying that New Brunswick is the only bilingual one. Interesting.
Number 6, Saskatchewan.
Saskatchewan. I almost can't even say it. I have heard this word. It sounds like a spell or something. Saskatchewan. I've heard of this. I had no idea where it was. So it's center left in Canada. This is the visual cues I need to use to to literally spatially remember these.
Sure, Saskatchewan gets really cold, with temperatures often dropping to negative 40 Celsius. But would you
Okay.
rather be
Wow.
warm or rich? Saskatchewanians apparently pick the latter because despite the frigid environment and boring landscape, they have the second highest life satisfaction rate of any province. And I'm
Okay.
guessing that has something to do with them also having the second highest median household income at $102,000. In addition to the second
I mean, is this number 6? It's already winning in like life satisfaction and income, but this is number 6 out of 10?
lowest median home value of just $288,000. Or maybe it's because even if it is cold for half the year, Saskatchewan is still the sunniest province. Speaking of which, those clear skies also make it one of the best places to see the northern lights. But while
Oh.
Regina and Saskatoon are both great small cities with growing economies and a ton to do, the rest of the province is really struggling. Prince Albert, for
Ah.
example, has a poverty rate nearing 25%, which has led it to
Wow.
being one of the most dangerous cities in Canada. And North
Oh.
Battleford's crime rate is 495% above the national average.
Okay, so it doesn't matter if you're rich and happy, if all your happiness is gonna get stolen because of the crime rates. But seriously, interesting.
This has led to Saskatchewan being the most dangerous province, with an overall crime rate 91% above the national average.
Wow.
But hey, at least the people are nice when they aren't trying to rob you. Number 5, Nova Scotia.
Nova Scotia. Nova Scotia, for some reason, it must be in a song or something. It must be in some kind of American pop culture thing that I don't remember. Because for some reason, I have heard the word Nova Scotia growing up. Never knew what it was, where it was, didn't know what was going on with Nova Scotia. But now I finally know. Turns out it's a province in Canada by Prince Edward Island and New Brunswick. Who knew?
The second smallest province by total area might just be the most beautiful. From stunning beaches, forests, lakes, and rivers to charming villages like Lunenburg, Wolfville, Cheticamp, and Badek to the
Wow.
freaking Cabot Trail in Cape Breton Island, Nova Scotia does not waste any space. Basically, if you want to live a quiet life among beautiful scenery, look no further. And
Yeah, this sounds pretty nice to me.
if you want to live a less quiet life among beautiful scenery, well, also look no further because Halifax is one of the best cities in Canada with a diverse and booming economy. And since
Okay.
the market's still undersaturated in most industries, it's also a great place to start a business. Sure,
Cool.
wages still have some catching up to do, as Nova Scotia's median household income is just $90,000. But as the population continues
Just 90,000. Just $90,000. That's a lot. That's good. What the heck? Is Canada rich or something? What's going on?
to grow, so should the salaries, and the cost of living still isn't too expensive with a median home value of just 351 grand, which is more than worth it, especially when you consider there's literally no crime and the schools are among the best in the nation.
Hold on. I'm sorry. I can't stop thinking about this now. Canadian dollar to US dollar. Is this what I'm missing? 1 Canadian dollar's worth 73. Okay, that's like a 25% difference. Okay, there we go. Something was up. I was like, what is going on here? But is he talking about Canadian dollars or? Probably, right? The world doesn't just revolve around me in America. We're not talking about US dollars here. Okay.
And unlike some Canadian provinces,
Newfoundland, Saskatchewan, and Manitoba. Okay, I gotta stop coughing. People are gonna think I have COVID.
Nova Scotia actually has pretty mild weather. Well, by Canadian standards at least.
Okay.
Number
Okay.
4,
Nova Scotia sounded pretty good.
British Columbia.
British Columbia. I only know of British Columbia because of an episode of Degrassi where Craig's little sister says British Columbia, and I never forgot it for years. So I knew of that as a place in Canada. Never knew where it was. It's on the left side. Okay.
I'm sorry, Nova Scotia, but with places like Vancouver Island, the Okanagan Valley, and Kootenay and Yoho National Parks, British Columbia is by far the most beautiful and diverse province, and it was never even close. But if you
Wow.
thought BC stood for British Columbia, it actually stands for Bring Cash, because boy, are you gonna need it with a median home value of $891,000.
That's impossible. 800, even if you shaved 25% off, that's 600,000 bucks for houses. Is that just the price of living in the most beautiful province in Canada?
Which is actually the highest in the nation. The economy is also incredible, however, with the highest GDP growth of any province and tons of good paying jobs in literally every industry, which has resulted in the third lowest unemployment rate as well as the fourth highest median household income at 96 grand. So
Okay.
the stress of money can't be that bad, considering British Columbia also has the second highest life expectancy at 82.4 years. And who wouldn't want to live as long as
Life expectancy, I mean, that's important.
possible to savor these views? And if you're not the outdoorsy type, there's still plenty here for you because Vancouver is a gorgeous, bustling, multicultural city, and Victoria is one of the most
So Vancouver is in British Columbia. Okay, good to know. I mean, I knew that. I totally knew that. I'm just thinking out loud about if I was someone who didn't know that, little game I like to play. But so move to British Columbia if you're rich and you want to live in paradise. Got it.
most charming places in the country. Not to mention, they're also home to the most mild climates in Canada.
Okay.
Number 3, Ontario.
Ontario, literally one of the only, I don't know if Americans would know to call it a province. They'd probably think it was a state or or something. But Americans, when they think of places in Canada, they know Ontario. They know that one.
Whether you want to live in a big city, small city, beach town, or even the countryside, Ontario has it all. Of course, there's Toronto, which manages to be an incredibly safe and clean city despite its massiveness. Not to mention, it's the most multicultural city in the world. But there's
Okay.
also so much more to Canada's most populated province. From beautiful shore
Yeah, I would have almost thought this one would be the winner of the list, right? This is the province that comes down into the
in
United
Canada. Number 3.
This is the province that comes down into the United States, yeah. And it's the most populated. I would have thought this would have been the winner. It has a lot of really important cities as well. Interesting.
Most populated province. From beautiful shorelines across 4 Great Lakes to the Niagara Falls region to Weemak Canyon and Thousand Islands National Park, the second largest province by total area has no shortage of beautiful scenery, quaint towns, or places to live that hashtag cottagecore life. And if you're only in it for the money, well...
Yeah, I heard cottages are a thing in Canada. Sounds pretty cool, to be honest. Can you, like, Airbnb it? You rent them out? A nice fancy cottage, pyramid-shaped. Look at that. It's a triangle with lights. Wow. Man, if only.
Ontario is the economic juggernaut of Canada, accounting for nearly 40% of the national GDP. So you shouldn't have much difficulty finding a good job, as the median household income of $100,300 is the 3rd highest in the nation. And those jobs aren't just in Toronto. In fact, Ottawa actually has even higher salaries, is much cheaper, and while you might think it's boring because government, it's actually a pretty hip city and a wonderful place to raise a family. Speaking of which, if you've got kids, Ontario is the 2nd safest province and has the 2nd best schooling system.
Okay, finally. I was like, where? We have been in mortal danger for half of this. Where are the safe provinces? All right, I'm exaggerating. I know that you're not in imminent danger of death in basically everywhere in Canada, I assume, except those Wild West territories where apparently anything can happen there. But yeah, this is 2nd safest. I'm sure they're all pretty safe. Come on.
Honestly, if it wasn't so expensive with a median home value of $835,000, Ontario probably would have been number 1.
Yeah.
Number 2, Alberta.
Alberta. It's number 2 on the list, yet somehow I've barely ever heard of Alberta. Honestly, I can't even say if I don't know at this point if I've heard of it because I've been watching some Canadian stuff or if I always knew all along. It's hard to say, but I'm not aware of anything in Alberta. But it's number 2.
You've likely seen images of Alberta gracing covers of magazines and travel inspo social media alike. But besides the majestic mountains and lakes of Banff and Jasper, Alberta also offers an incredibly high quality of life. Mainly thanks to the oil that abounds in the region, which has helped the province achieve by far the highest median household income at over $113,000.
Wow. Nice city, too.
As well as the 4th lowest unemployment rate at just 7%. Yet despite those high paychecks, the cost of living still isn't unreasonable, with a median home value of only $426,000. Yeah, that's less than half the cost of a house in British Columbia.
Maybe this is the best bang for your buck. Alberta, where it's super nice but still affordable.
Add in the fact that it's the most tax-friendly province, and it's no wonder the poverty rate is the lowest in the country at just 8.2%. It is a surprise how the public schools are also the best in Canada despite those low taxes, however. Either way, there just isn't much wrong with Alberta. The only things keeping it from
Alberta is sounding super solid.
Number 1 are the crime rate that's 46% above the national average, and the province's heavy dependence on oil for the high incomes. Because sure, things are great now, but as oil prices are very cyclical, it's only a matter of time before the economy crashes. Now, before we get to number 1, make sure you leave a like and subscribe, and let me know. Number 1, Quebec.
Right. Quebec? How did he say it? I want to get my pronunciations a little better.
It is. But without further ado, number 1, Quebec.
Quebec? Not Quebec. Quebec. Quebec? I'm going with that. French speaking, and it has Quebec City. Quebec City, sorry.
I guess it's true that bigger is better, and that things do get better with time, because Canada's largest and most historic province is also the best. Quebec is by far the safest province, has the 2nd most diversified economy, 2nd lowest unemployment rate, the highest average life expectancy, and 3rd highest life satisfaction rate.
So it's basically top 2, maybe top 3 in every category. I also didn't know that Quebec was very historical. That's, of course, a very nice touch.
And while the median household income of $94,000 is only the 5th highest, the cost of living is also incredibly affordable, with a median home cost of just $449,000 and very cheap rents in Montreal, resulting in the second lowest poverty rate at just 8.7%. And
Okay.
speaking of Montreal, the culture, the food, the history, oh la la, is it beautiful. And they're also
Hold on. What's the language of Quebec? Quebec. Quebec. Q-U-E-Bec. Not Quentin Tarantino. Quebec. Not K. Quebec. Quebec language. Oh, official language. French. I'm gonna listen to Wikipedia on this one, so that's the only thing. Is French. Okay, yeah. That's the official language. It's not French and English, as far as I can tell. So that might be the only barrier to entry for a lot of people.
many other charming cities and towns, in addition to gorgeous forests, mountains, lakes, and beaches. The only thing that should stop you from moving here is if you don't speak French, in which case, learn French, because Quebec is the best province to live in for 2021.
Okay. I got you. Whoa, okay. I hear you. Oh, I gotta go back now. Go back. I didn't mean to skip ahead.
Median home value.
That was from here to there. I liked that. I had to give you a like. I had to go back for the like, because I did like that a lot. He wasn't too harsh on the provinces. I mean, at times, actually, he kind of was. But I understand what went into his rating system. I get it. And I'm sure those ratings are very debatable. I wanted to watch this just to get an overall overview sense of all the provinces in Canada, a little bit about each of their personalities. And I think as far as that mission, I think mission successful. I think I have a much better idea of each of the provinces now, and a little bit of insight into how dangerous some of them are. No. But yeah, I really enjoyed that. I even have a lot better sense of where everything is, geographically speaking. Yes, I did have to learn that. But now I know, so that's good. I enjoyed this. That was very helpful. And I'd be interested to take a much deeper dive into each individual province, Each one's got so much more to them individually, I am positive. So I'm looking forward to that as well. Anyway, if you're looking forward to that, feel free to give this video a like or give it a comment. And if you're interested in more videos like this, feel free to subscribe for more. Me reacting to Canadian stuff, subscribe for more of that. And until then, thanks for watching, and see you next time.